Everybody knows that I'm breaking down. Everybody knows I ain't faking now. Everybody knows my heart's vacant now. Yeah, she hates me now, I made mistakes, but now I don't ever wanna be alone. I don't really ever feel at home. On my own, in the zone, that's the only way I know. Feeling low, about to blow back up. Here I won't ever let the doubt creep in.
I know I'm a bit late, but I promise that this Chroma Prime video will be worth your time. Hello comrades, and welcome to my updated Chroma video, wherein I'll share to you a rivenless, eidolon hunting setup for Chroma Prime, that will allow you to take down those limbs, and the eidolon itself in a couple of shots. Also, I will be sharing to you an all-rounder build for Chroma which you can use outside of eidolon hunting. I know you are eager to see these builds, so let's begin this video. First, let's discuss about my eidolon hunter build and setup for Chroma. If you go with this mod setup, then you just need to spend 2 former. When it comes to eidolon hunting, I really prefer lots of power, strength and duration for Chroma. I really don't bother equipping Rage or Hunter Adrenaline in my setup anymore, as energy is not really a problem with this setup. If you don't have Umbral mods yet, or haven't maxed it out, then you can go with the ordinary Vitality and Intensify. But remember, if we equip these 2 Umbral mods, not only that we increase our life, but also our power strength, because of the set bonus that these mods have. Deadeye is a personal preference, and you can use this when hunting with an organized group with 3 corrosive projection, 2 times coction drift, and this Deadeye mod. Most organized eidolon hunter have this setup, and most of the time, the damage dealer will be the one equipping the Deadeye mod. However, this mod would be pointless if you have Sarpa with the Shattering Impact mod on your arsenal. If you want to take down the eidolons fast, then better bring Sarpa. Basically, you don't need to have a full mod setup for your Sarpa. Just equip it with attack speed and the Shattering Impact mod, and you are good to go. One quick tip in using Sarpa: shoot the eidolon for 6 times with your Sarpa's charged shot. The shot will land 5 bullets, and in 6 shots, you will then do 30 hits, which result to 180 armor strip on the eidolon. Remember that eidolon has 200 base armor, and it would be wise to remove 90% of its armor to take advantage of the radiation damage your weapon have. So, this is the damage of my current setup without the help of Sarpa. As you can see, it deals decent amount of damage, but just look how good when we strip 90% of the eidolon's armor. The damage is really good that we can take out the limbs with 2 to 4 shots without any riven. If you have Sarpa on your loadout, then you can either equip the Deadeye mod, or increase your mod capacity with Steel Charge, and place Power Drift on the Exilus mod slot for more power strength. You might have to remove Constitution and replace it with Augur Message though, but still, the duration is pretty long that you won't even notice a difference. It would probably be better if we can equip Growing Power, but, based on my test, Growing Power is not good in eidolon hunting since we can't proc any status effect on the eidolons. Yes, your operator can proc impact damage with the help of the Shrax and Scaffold, but the thing is, you can't use the buff with Chroma. Okay, now let's talk about why we need a lot of power strength. Plain and simple, because we want to have as much Fury buff on our Vex armor. With Power Drift on the Exilus mod slot, we can have as much as 957% weapon damage buff. That allows us to take down the limbs of the eidolons with just a few shots. Now this is not known to all, especially to beginners, but Vex armor has some really confusing damage calculation. To make it really simple, damage mods such as Serration and Heavy Caliber doesn't work well with Chroma's Vex armor. There's basically no diminishing returns, it's just math. Chroma's buff is just one big Serration mod, and it has always been more beneficial to use elemental mods, or other mods like multi-shot or critical, after you've reached a certain point in damage. The reason for this is that damage mods directly affect how much damage elemental mods give. So there's a special point where you benefit more from carrying an elemental mod instead of stacking damage percents over and over again. The increase of damage, while equipping elemental mods, instead of damage mods, is not really that far from each other, but you will see a difference. If we try out Rubico Prime with a Serration mod on this level 125 Corrupted Bombard, it will deal 1000 less damage, compared to the damage dealt while having a 60% elemental mods on our setup. The increase on damage may not be that significant, but it does help in breaking the eidolon limbs fast, and it's the proper way of min-maxing the damage output of Vex armor's Fury buff. There is another ability that leaves new players confused with Chroma, and that is her Elemental Ward. There are 4 elements you can choose from, and they exhibit different effects depending on Chroma's current elemental alignment, determined by Chroma's energy color. Heat element, represented by this fire symbol, generates a flame aura around Chroma and affected allies that increases base health and inflicts heat damage per second within a radius of 5 meters. Electric element, represented by this lightning symbol, infuses Chroma and affected allies with an electric current that increases base shields and converts incoming damage into arc discharges. An arc discharge inflicts incoming damage as electricity damage to a single target within a certain range. Toxin element, that is represented by this poison symbol, emits an aura of noxious fumes around Chroma and affected allies that increases base reload speed and holster rate. Within a radius of 5 meters, the noxious fumes also has a chance per second to deal 5% of an enemy's maximum health as toxin damage. And lastly, cold element, which is represented by this snowflake symbol, encases Chroma and affected allies in a layer of frost that increases base armor and creates an ice shield that reflects incoming fire back to their source. When it comes to Eidolon hunting, there's one element that I find helpful somehow, and that is the toxin element. I know that you are thinking about ice element, for more survivability, but the thing is, with the amount of armor increase I have for Chroma, paired with Arcane Guardian, and probably, with the help of a Trinity in the team, I have enough survivability and just can focus on dealing damage to the Eidolons. But anyway, you can use the ice element if you want to. However, I definitely suggest that you try out Toxin for the hunt as it helps with the reload speed of snipers. I usually pair Arcane Momentum and the reload speed buff on Chroma's Elemental Ward so I can achieve almost no downtime on my sniper like in my Rubico Prime. On the other hand, I usually consider Ice Element for more survivability, and the small control it gives by slowing enemies in other mission types. Outside Eidolon hunting, it's really personal preference and you can pick the element you want for your playstyle or, depending on what the mission demands. Aside from all those stuff, you can be a much better Eidolon hunter when you bring your very own self-damaging weapon. Since I advise using Sarpa on the melee weapon, you should bring a secondary weapon with concealed explosives to help you get that fury buff quickly rather than just relying on the Eidolon to hit you with their attacks. You really don't need to fully mod your thrown weapon, just mod it with the concealed explosive mod, and lots of attack speed for faster throw. I'm using the Hiccup Prime for this purpose and as you can see, I can gain the fury buff much faster with this weapon. And anyway, you will just do this process one time per Eidolon because of the long duration that your Vex armor has, plus you can recast it anyway. Other than that, bringing an Adaza Kavat could somehow boost your damage output, but don't rely on it too much, as the Cat's Eye mod is based on chance to proc. Lastly, bring energy and ammo pizza if you have in the hunt, and you can also equip a decaying dragon key on the hunt to make the acquisition of fury buff much faster. Okay, we are done with the Eidolon build and setup. Let's proceed to my Chroma build outside of Eidolon hunting. I did choose to form my Chroma Prime 3 times to make it versatile. From an Eidolon hunter, I can switch to an effective damage dealer Chroma, by removing primed continuity and replacing it with rage. And then, adding growing power on the aura slot. This is a personal preference, and I base this mod setup to my own playstyle, and in fact, you can choose to mod your Chroma your way. Just a reminder, Chroma needs a lot of power, strength and duration to be an effective damage dealer. You might ask, is there any other role for Chroma aside from damage dealing? My answer is none. In my honest opinion, his first and fourth ability really needs a rework to make Chroma a more versatile Warframe, but I'm not gonna cry a river on this video and beg Digital Extremes that they rework Chroma. I'm done doing that in my past video, but I'm still hoping and dreaming of a much better dragon in the future. I forgot to mention this earlier, but if you want to go hunting some Eidolons with Chroma, then I advise you to equip the Unaru Focus School, and be sure to have the Unaru Wisp to increase your allies' operator damage. Medurai Focus is not really good for Chroma as he will be the one shotting the limbs down, and this frame will just waste those Void Strike stack on the Medurai Focus because of his role for the hunt. While for other missions, outside of Eidolon hunting, you can actually choose to play with all Focus School. Anyway, you really won't be locked out on Zenuric because of the energizing dash, as I made sure that I can gain energy, and can keep Chroma's Vex armor without the help of the Zenuric Focus. So that's it. I hope that you find this Chroma video informative. Be sure to check my next video, as we will be min-maxing the Rubico Prime for the Eidolon hunt. The build you've seen on this video for this new sniper is capable of taking down the limbs with 2 to 4 shots, but we can potentially increase its damage with another sniper specific mod, so be sure to watch out that Rubico Prime video. Also, we are nearing 40k sub comrades, and when we reach that milestone, we will be celebrating with a giveaway. I will give away a Prime Access and 1000 Platinum, courtesy of Digital Extreme's generosity, and I'll announce how you can join the giveaway on our Discord channel this weekend. Link to our Discord server is on the video description below. Before you leave, please do give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching it and subscribe if you want to see more informative videos like this. Just remember to turn on notifications to receive daily updates from this channel. Thank you so much for watching. Squad Leader signing off.
It's so cold outside. I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside. I'm alone.